Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I'm SocietySucks and today I'm checking out What Makes You Different from an Animal by Kurzgesagt. The original title of this video was different. It was Let's Explore Your Most Secret Place, Your Mind. I don't get why Kurzgesagt keeps changing the thumbnails and titles so quickly. It makes no sense to me. Why would you change a title 10 minutes after you upload the video? You had plenty of time to decide the title and the thumbnail before you uploaded. Why change it every couple of minutes? It just makes no sense to me, but that's how Kurzgesagt does it. So regardless of what I say now, by the time you watch this, the title's probably already different. And so is the thumbnail. So the thing that appeared on screen a second ago, probably no longer accurate. Who cares? Let's just watch the video.
You exist in a truly secret place nobody but you can enter. Your mind. When we say mind, we mean the place where you, whatever you are, exist. It's the totality of your inner world, the location of your consciousness and memories, the toolset of your intelligence. It's the place where all of your wants, thoughts and emotions happen, where you think, learn, dream and imagine things, consciously and unconsciously. Your mind is truly your own, a universe only directly accessible and inhabited by you and inaccessible to anyone else in the universe.
For
and
now,
your mind is probably unique to you. Probably because how would we know if two minds are the same?
I'm sure that in the future humanity will find a way to access
scenery,
people's
a crisp
brains, their
image with
memories
clear
and
details
shit, or
and
something
colour.
of the
Is
sort.
the apple hanging in a void? Can you rotate it? Is it a 2D shape? Is it colourless or transparent or very vague? Or don't you see anything at all but feel what an apple feels like to you? Maybe a weird mix? Do you have an internal voice that narrates your life? Do you have an inner monologue? Is there silence inside your mind?
Kind
Do
of,
you
I
only
guess.
hear voices when you read? Or do you process thoughts
In a way, yes.
non-verbally or even just feel the world around you?
When I read things, I can, well, I suppose it depends. If I'm reading, for example, a fan fiction of a certain show, or a book like Game of Thrones, though the show example makes more sense, and I read a certain character talking, in my head I hear the same voice of the actor who plays that character on the show. And with books that don't have a show, I just make up a random voice in my head. Just like a default male and a default female voice.
It's a bit stunning how many variations of inner universes humans have and how different our minds must be. Humans have arguably the most complex minds on Earth, but today it's widely accepted that minds are not exclusive to us. There are trillions of animal minds out in the world, unaccountable little secret universes, forever locked to us. And by looking at them and their evolution, we may be able to learn why our minds are as stunning as they are today. A pretty wild idea is that minds might have originally evolved to control your movements, to create a gap between all of your sensory input and your motor output, how you react to information by moving your body.
That would make sense.
A tool to deal with the world. When life emerged, it was without any minds, but just cells, able to eat, poop, and reproduce. They already had to navigate a complex and dangerous world and to process sensory input, but they were extremely inflexible. If a cell had the inner state hungry and sensed food, it automatically moved in that direction, or it flapped around randomly until it ran into a meal by accident. This worked well enough for billions of years and still does, but as life exploded in complexity and became multicellular, cells began to dedicate themselves to processing information. The first very simple minds emerged.
Hydra.
Little more than tiny gaps. Virtual spaces in which sensory information could be processed for a short moment before these early animals had to react. Roundworms only have 302 neurons in total, yet they're already able to learn things like, this thing is bad, and retain a memory that changes behavior for a few hours before they forget again. Minds on this
Only
level
a few
most
hours.
likely don't reason or think, but use simple rules that work well in their environments.
Yeah, this
Scientists
good, this
still
bad.
debate whether this counts as mind or are still just pre-programmed automated reflexes. With more neurons, animals can freeze before they act, process and interpret information, and make decisions for what's the best option at that moment. This is arguably where a true inner space a mind begins to emerge. And some insects may have something like it, like our buddy the bee. With a brain
bees?
smaller than a sesame seed and about 1 million neurons, a bee has a much larger mind gap. And it's filled with
definitely.
information about the world. It builds and remembers a huge mental map of flowers over square kilometers of terrain, cross-referencing it with the position of the sun to find its way. Bees can take shortcuts, so they can't be simply following reflexes, but are actually navigating their internal maps. In extreme cases, when resources are scarce, bees can move up to 10 kilometers from their hives to collect food, the equivalent of going from Paris to Rome for groceries. And they teach the location of the food by dancing. Minds have emerged a few times in evolutionary history and evolved in different directions. So while we're telling this story by increasing complexity, in reality, minds are more like a weird mix of different experiments depending on what niches the animals fill. Mind complexity probably increases dramatically as we add more neurons, like the octopus that has about 500 million of them. Only
damn.
40% of their neurons are in their central brain, while each of their arms has their own mini nerve centers that taste, process
each arm is
information
kind of like
locally
its
at the
own
same time
brain in a
and
way.
act on their own. The central brain does still coordinate them for complex behavior like catching prey, because imagine 8 arms doing their own thing all the time. But different arms are specialized and used primarily for different tasks, like exploring or movement.
Basically,
And
9
we know
brains,
their
1
arms can
body.
make decisions independently to some degree and have some autonomy. Octopuses are very intelligent animals, able to do loads of complex things, so their minds should be somewhat complex. But how does their mind experience things? Is it distributed over their whole body? Does an octopus feel like multiple smaller minds interacting as one thing? If octopuses show how
We'll probably
strange
never know.
minds can be, birds show how sophisticated they can become if it develops in a different direction. Some bird species with billions of neurons probably have surprisingly sophisticated minds where they can go one step further. While minds may have started as a gap to delay action, bird minds are able to simulate a map of reality, including other players. Scrub jays are hoarders that catch and hide all sorts of food in different places, from worms to nuts. Inside their mind, they keep track of time and are aware that fresh food goes bad. So after a few days have passed, they'll ignore the hiding places of dead worms and instead go for the nuts that are still good. Probably more impressive, they might be able to simulate the minds of other birds. If a scrub jay is hiding food and notices another jay watching, they'll return later and re-hide their stash so it doesn't get stolen, which is a perfect transition to what makes the minds of humans so special. While we're probably not the only animals that can simulate other minds inside our mind, humans with our 86 billion neurons have taken it to extraordinary depths. The internal universe.
86
When
billion.
humans are born, they're cute but selfish blobs of meat, solely focused on their own needs.
That's a way to describe them.
But around 18 to 24 months, a baby becomes able to recognize itself in a mirror. It realizes that something that seems to be other is actually itself, which is usually a delightful experience for the human larvae. But it's also the first step of a
I don't think I've ever heard a baby be referred to as a human larvae. Oh my god. That's a good description, actually.
realization. You're not just an observer in the world, there are also others that can observe you. You see and you're seen. And if you're seen, well, then you can't just behave egoistically all the time because you need the goodwill of others to stay alive. We humans are not just simulating other minds in our minds, we simulate minds simulating minds. We think about what others think.
Yeah, that's
we think
true.
about what they think about us thinking about what they think, and so on. There are
It
a
just
lot
keeps
of layers.
going.
This awareness of the minds of others may be one of the origins of our moral conscience, and a huge reason why we're able to live in large societies with other humans we're not related to, and may have spawned one of our most charming obsessions, storytelling. We don't just remember that an event happened, we imagine what the people that were part of it were thinking,
True.
what we think they should have been thinking, what might have happened if they'd acted and thought differently. Combined with our ability to create fictional universes to plan ahead, we've created countless fictional worlds with people that don't exist but that we deeply relate to, that are real to us. Every movie, novel or comic is humans sharing their internal simulations with each other. Whether
Yeah,
you see a photo...
That's true. I can't even begin to explain how many different fictional scenarios I've thought of in my head. It just kind of happens. I'm just going about my day and then randomly I start thinking, well, what if I actually did this instead? How would other people have reacted to that? What would they have done? And how would I have reacted to their reaction? What would my next actions have been? And it just goes down into a rabbit hole of, it's weird. You just think about past actions and what would have happened if you'd done it differently.
...to realistic apple in your mind, or feel the concept of an apple, in the storytelling space, we're all able to come together and understand each other. This is how we transport information about morality and our values, about what we think is good or bad. So maybe the most amazing thing about human minds is that they're fundamentally social, filled with voices, ideas, and perspectives from countless others. Your thoughts and feelings have been shaped by stories that never happened, but that you've absorbed and simulated in your mind in a way that's unique to you. In a very real sense, your secret mind isn't just yours, but a collaborative creation between you
this
and
whole
all
video
the
is just a
human
mind
minds that
fuck.
came before. And if you want, you can add your stories as well, for the ones that come after. Our latest limited
Jesus,
edition
that's
bid
it?
is here.
That's 10 minutes gone. Completely lost track of time while watching this. Okay, so it's been 28 minutes since this video was uploaded, but so far I only see one title and one thumbnail change. I would have expected two at this point. The whole topic of this video is very... what's the right word for this? Hard to understand? Difficult to imagine? Because we are talking about how the mind works, which really, we can't say exactly how the mind works. We don't really know. We have a decent understanding and idea of how exactly our brain, our mind functions, but we still don't know because I don't know. I can't even explain why we can't figure it out. It's just, it's an interesting concept, but I doubt we'll ever actually find the answer to it. Ironically, the human mind cannot comprehend exactly how the human mind works and how it came to be. Yeah, think about that while trying to go to sleep tonight. I suppose you could call this the curse of intelligence. The more intelligent a creature is, the more difficult it is to figure out exactly how it came to be so smart, what it is. The more intelligent, the more difficult it is to understand. So obviously, humans are the most difficult to understand because we're the most intelligent creature on the planet. That we know of anyway. I mean, for all we know, there could be something smarter than us, which is so smart it's managed to completely avoid detection by humans. I doubt it, but it's theoretically possible. And hell, there could be different creatures in space somewhere. We don't know. It's also really interesting. We can think up so many different fictional scenarios, so many insane things, like how another person would think about us, how we would think about them, thinking about us, thinking about them, and just, it can go down so far, and yet we cannot really think about how our own mind is capable of doing this, and why it does this, and how it came to be. My head hurts. Oh, God. Maybe someday we'll figure it out. Probably not, but hey, we can hope. There's not much more for me to say here, because my brain is already kind of fried. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. If you want to see more reactions, check out this video right here. And with that, I hope I'll see you in the next video.